Hi and welcome to today's lecture. Now, we are looking at one of the most important concept in programming. Now, this one we call it conditions. Conditions. So it was actually a promise from the other video that the next following it will be conditions. Now, most of the concept of programming, like the loops, if statement, and others, they all act on conditions. So I've taken the time here to talk to you about what conditions are and then importance of conditions. Okay, so let me actually go to the comparison operators. Okay, now we know that whenever we use the comparison operator, the outcome is either true or false. Okay, whenever we use the outcome comparison operator, the outcome is either true or false. Now, it's very important for us to note that we have one variable a, and let's say the a is equal to 5. Another variable b is equal to 7. Okay. Now, when we say compare, we are simply trying to check if either the a is greater than the b or the b is greater than the a in that order. So a is greater than b. Okay, this thing you see here, you can see we are making use of the comparison operator. Now, under the comparison operator, so we can have comparison operator. Let me just make it OPP. We can have the greater than, the less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and then the double equal to. Okay, so these are some examples of the comparison operator, and they are used for comparing two or more variables. So we have one variable a and then one other variable b. You see we are using the greater than, so we are trying to check to see if the value of a is greater than b, and if indeed the value of a is greater than b, the whole outcome here will amount to true, and if it's otherwise, it's going to be false. Okay, now this is what we call condition in programming. This is what we call condition. So we have so many names for it. You can sometimes see condition, sometimes too they can call it Boolean expression. Okay, condition or Boolean expression, and it's very, very important. Eye with me. Whenever you are trying to compare variables, the construct or what you form is what we call the what? The condition. Sorry, the condition. Okay, so this one like this, let me put it in a C out. I'll create a variable bool and then I'll equate it to result. So comparison operator is being used, so the outcome is going to be that true or false. And since we are equating it to the result variable, it means whatever the outcome of this expression is going to be stored in a result variable. Now I can come here, C out, and then call the result. If I call the result, now quickly in programming, if we say true, it comes as 1, and then false is what? 0. This is not so in all other language, but in C++, this is what we have. So if the condition is true, it will come as 1, and if it's false, it will come as what? 0. So you can see we have 0 here. That means the condition is what? Is false. So let's check. A is what? 5, and then B is 9. So the 5 is never greater than the 9. As a result, the whole thing here returns what? False. Okay, now the same way we can also make it less than, and when we run it, I hope you know what will come because we just changed it. So opposite, that is what? 1 as true. Okay, so this is what we call condition. Each time you see variables being compared, okay, the outcome that will form what we get as the output of the whole thing is what we call the condition. Okay, or the Boolean expression, because at the end of the day, this whole thing is going to what? Return a Boolean value, either true or false. Now again, it's not compulsory to have the round bracket around the variables you are comparing. Okay, but for readability's sake, if you add a round bracket, it makes it easy to understand and more readable. Okay, so this is about the what? the condition we are talking about, and we make use of the comparison operators. You can also use the double equal to like this. Now whenever you see the double equal to, it means we are trying to check for equality. We are checking the value of A and then the value of B, comparing them to see if they have the same value. But looking at what we have here, you can see the A is 5 and then the B is what? 9. So 5 and 9, they are never the same. So as a result, this one is going to give you something different. Are you with me? That is 0, of course, because they are not the same. So if we say condition, this is all about condition. Okay, let me take you to the slide and then we'll look at something different. And now so this under the comparison operator. The logical operator was what I skipped from the previous lecture. Now it says this operator is used to compare two different situations where its result is just as comparison operator. So let me just skip and then show you the AND, the OR, and then the NOT operator. Under the logical operator, these are the examples we have: the AND operator, OR, and then the NOT. Okay, you see, in English, if you have sentence and you want to join them together, it's possible to join the sentence with AND. You can also join sentence with the OR. Okay, not the NOT. The two here, AND and then the OR. We will look at the AND and then the OR. Then later on we'll look at what the NOT does. Okay, so the AND and then the OR, they are for joining sentences together. That is when we come to English. In programming, we use the AND and then the NOT. At the AND and then the OR, we use them for joining conditions together. Okay, so sometimes it's possible to have more than a condition. Let's say you have a supermarket system, and in your application you want to make it in such a way that before a customer can get a discount, number one, they need to be in the system. They need to be a customer for at least 2 years, and at the same time the total cost of the product they bought should be more than 50 cedis. You get it? So you realize this time around we have two things we are checking here. Number one, the number of time they've worked with us, and number two, the number of the amount of the total cost of the product they purchased. So two things here. Okay, so that is same about the job of the logical operators. They help us to check for more instances or more conditions. Okay, and I think it's going to be more fun. Let me just show you some example. So under the logical, like you saw, we have the AND and then we have the OR. Then last one, we have the NOT. So what you see here is simply example under the logical operator. So in programming, AND is written as 2 ampersand, OR is also written as what? 2 pipe sign symbols, and then the NOT is simply exclamation mark. Almost all languages follows this approach. It's only few ones that has a different way, but understanding it from this point should be a good a good start. Any other language you learn will be very easy for you to follow because they all have similar approach. Okay, so I will start by talking about the AND, and then from there I'll talk about the OR. Okay, but first thing first, you can jot this thing down in your note that the AND and then the OR, they are used for joining conditions together. Okay, so I'll say AND A is less than B. Okay, let me make some change here. Now whenever you use the AND operator to join conditions together, this is what will happen. Now the whole thing here is going to be seen as true if all the individual conditions return true. Okay, so if you read the definition, it says AND return result true only if both situations are producing true. So the situation they are talking about is simply what? The condition. Okay, the situation is simply the condition. So if let's say we have 50 conditions all joined together, and those 50 conditions, all of them are returning true, then the whole thing will be seen as true. And this happens only when we use the AND operator. Okay, so when you use an AND operator to join like maybe 100 conditions, for instance, all the 100 conditions, all of them should return true before the whole thing will be seen as true. So let's analyze what we have. Now we have one condition and then the last condition. So let's check the outcome of the first one. Is A equal to B? So is 9 equal to 5 equal to 9? So 5 is never equal to 9. So meaning this condition, this individual condition will return false. Let's check the other one. A is less than B. What is A? 5. And then what is B? 9. So do you think 5 is less than 9? This one is correct. Okay. So we have two conditions joined together. One is correct and then one is not correct. This is false and then this is true. What will happen is, because we are joining them together using the AND operator, the whole outcome, the outcome of the whole thing will be false. It will not be true, because the AND operator requires that all the individual conditions join together. It requires that they return true. That is it. It requires that they return true. So this is similar to telling someone, go and buy me laptop and then a charger. Okay, the person comes with a charger without a laptop. You realize it will not have no use. It will have no use. How can we use the charger without the laptop? Okay, so whenever AND is used for joining sentences together, it expects that the whole condition used should be met. Okay, so as a result, if we execute this, the outcome of the program is going to be 0. You get it? It's going to be 0 because one failed. What if we change it and then we make it at this time around the B is greater than the A? What do you think? What is B? 9. And then what is A? 5. Do you think 5 is greater than B? Let's run and see. I think it's true. So you can see we have 1 displayed. Okay, so the one we get is simply because true. This one is true. This one too is what? Is true. Are you with me? I can decide to add another condition if I want to. I can say that the A is equal to 5. Now check what we have. So B is greater than A, and then A is less than B, and then finally it's saying what? A is equal to 5. Now this one is true. You can check it and see. This one too is true. And then the last one that we just added is also what? True. So since all the conditions here are all returning true, the whole outcome will be seen as what? True. So you can see we have 1 here. Now suppose instead of this side being 5, we make it 7. That means all of them true. This one is false. And we are joining them together with the AND. Look at what will happen. You can see we have 0. Okay. So there are so many scenarios you will want to check for, conditions you will want to make sure your group of conditions of pass. Okay, if you let's take the voting system for instance. For you to be able to vote in Ghana here, number one, you need to be either more than or equal to 18 years. That is one condition. Another condition is that you need to have the voter's ID card. So if you are 25 years, that means your age is eligible for voting. But what if you don't have voter's ID card? You get it? So with such scenario, it expects that the two conditions, all of them must met, like all of them must return true before you will be allowed to cast your vote. So if maybe you have the voter's ID card, let's say if you are 50 years, 25 years, if you are more than 17 and you don't have the card, they will not allow you because one condition has passed, but the other one is not what? It's not passed. Okay, so this is what happens when we use the AND operator. Then we have the OR operator. The OR operator. Okay, the OR operator. So the OR is the opposite of the AND. Now the OR returns true if at least from both situation, one situation is what? Is given true. So the situation you are seeing is simply condition. So if we have 50 conditions joined together and at least one is true, then the whole thing will be considered as what? As true. So let me create another Boolean variable. So test OR operator. So testing the OR operator, I'll say A is greater than B, or B is greater than A, like this. Now let's do the checking. So with the C out, I'll just put it on the test or operator. Okay. Now for the first part, this is one condition, another condition. We don't want to check for more things. It's just two things we are checking here. First one and then the second one. So these two conditions are joined together with the what? The OR operator. Now the first one, it says A is greater than B. Do you think the A is greater than B? 5 can never be greater than 9. So this first condition is false. We go to the next one. B is greater than 5. What is B? And then A. So it's true. 9 is greater than 5. So this one is false, and then this one is what? Is true. But then the requirement of the OR operator is, if you have like 40 conditions and all of them failed, only one returned true, the whole thing will be seen as true. So with the OR, it expects that at least one of the conditions returns true. If all of them are true, that is no problem. If some of them are true, no problem. If at least one is true, no problem. But the moment all of them are false, then the whole thing will be seen as false. Okay. It's very easy for someone to tell you that go and buy me water or drink. If you don't come with the drink and you come with the water, it's okay. If you don't come with the water and then you come with the drink too, it's okay. If you come with both of them, that is also fine. You get it. But you are asked to go and buy either water or drink and you come with none of them. You realize the condition is not met. What you were asked to do, you didn't complete it. Are you with me? So this is what happens when you use the OR operator. So I'll execute the code and you can see that we have one on the screen. Okay. Now let me make it like this. So B is greater than 50. It's not just the greater than or the less than we can use. We can use any of the comparison operators you see here. Okay. Just for you to understand, that's why I'm using this one. So for the first one, A is not greater than B, so it's false. For the second one, it says B is greater than 50. B is 9. Is 9 greater than 50? That is false. So the first condition is false. The second condition is false. When we execute the program, we are going to get 0. That is equivalent to what? Equivalent to false. Equivalent to false. So that is the goal of the OR operator. And then the OR, both are used for joining conditions together. But it depends on what you are checking for. If you use the OR, it requires that at least one of your conditions should be true. And then if you use the AND, it expects that all the conditions you are checking for should individually return true. If one is false, then the whole thing is never going to considered. Okay, so that is about the AND and then the OR operator. If maybe by this up to this point you still don't get it, try as much as possible, take your book and then a pen, go back to the initial starting of the video, jot something down, because for your success in programming depends on this side. It's very important. Conditions is one of the concepts. This is what will make your program be able to think. Now come to think of this, recently there's I think not recently, came when during the COVID period, there was some hand sanitizer machine. The moment you put your hands under, then it comes out. When you take your hand off, then automatically it goes. So it's all done with conditions. Okay, a condition with a sensor that whenever something comes in closer, it should release the liquid. When it's off, you get it. So conditions are used for these ones. We have also some water pumping machine that when they are pumping, automatically when the tank gets full, the machine will stop pumping by itself. When the tank is not full, then you keep pumping. Okay, this is all done with condition. It will check the level of the water to see if it has gotten to the brim. Are you with me? So for us to be able to create an application that can reason like the way we want it in real life, we need to understand conditions very well. Okay, and this is it. Now, not to waste much time, let me quickly talk about the NOT operator. So the NOT operator is not like the AND, it's not also like the OR. it's just used for reversing outcome of conditions. Okay, reversing outcome of conditions. So let me create another one. Bool not operator. Okay, so not operator. A is greater than B. What do you think will be the answer for A greater than B? Is it going to be 1 or is going to be 0? So 5 cannot be greater than 9, right? So as a result, this thing you are seeing here is going to give us an output of 0 or false. Let's run this and see. So you can see false here. Now the not operator is used for reversing the outcome of the condition. So if the condition originally, if it's false, not can make it true, and if it's true too, not can make it false. It works on conditions, and its purpose is to reverse the outcome. So this is how you use it. Right at the back of the condition, you place the not operator there, exclamation mark. Then the original outcome of the condition highlighted here will be reversed. So previously it was 0. Let's run it now and see. So you can see now it's what? It's 1. If we remove the not operator from there and execute the program again, it's back to what? The original state, that is the false. Okay, so basically that is what the not operator is used for. Okay, the not operator, that's what it's used for. Whenever you use it, it will reverse the outcome of your condition, the outcome of your condition. So we have the not operator testing, the or, and then I think the end operator. Okay, so quickly let me show you one last thing, then we move on to the next one. Kindly consider subscribing and then also share our videos. If you are really learning something, try and then give me your comment. Let me know at least my sacrifice is not in vain. I'm seeing that there's a lot of task on me currently. Okay, so see out the result. Result is simply this variable, right? And if I run the program, you can see that I have 0. That means we are joining them with end operator. So if it's false, then one of the condition failed. I think it will be the last one, because the A is not what? It's not 7, it's 5. So we can do something like this. Now whenever you see the exclamation mark, we call it what? The not. So what do you think this one will be? A is not equal to 7. Don't add space. Join them together. You get it? So the comparison operator can also be used for checking if a variable is not equal to something. So A is not equal to 7. So if indeed the A is not equal to 7, then the condition will return true. So we run again, and you can see this time around 1 is displayed on the screen. Okay, so basically this is all about conditions in programming. It's very important to understand how conditions work. They are constructed using the comparison operator, and their outcome is always true or false. That is what we call the Boolean expression. If you want to join more than conditions together, then you subscribe to another group of operators. We call them the what? The logical operator. And under the logical operator, we simply have the AND operator, the OR operator, and then lastly the what? The NOT operator. Basically the AND and then the OR, they are used for joining conditions together, and then the NOT operator is just used for reversing the outcome. Okay, when you use it like this, then you are trying to check if maybe a variable is not equal to a particular value. Okay, but if you bring it in front of a condition, then the NOT will reverse the whole condition and give you the opposite of what the original is returning. Okay, so I'll thank you so much for the time. Try and then subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Like I said, your comment, your sharing, your liking is a motivation for us. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next lecture. Bye bye.